Good evening, you're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. Here are the headlines for tonight. Renewable energy boosts, SARAWAK Energy and Masdar's COP28 pact. ART to be ready for the public by 2027. Student dies after motorcycle crash. SARAWAK Energy Berhad on Wednesday inked a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with United Arab Emirates state-owned clean energy provider Abu Dhabi Future Energy Company (PJSC), known as Masdar. The agreement, signed in conjunction with the COP28 in Dubai, signifies a strategic collaboration to advance renewable energy projects throughout Sarawak. The MOU was formalized by SCP Group Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sharbini Suhaili with Masdar's CEO Muhammad Jamil Al-Ramahi, witnessed by the Premier Sarawak Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg.
Of the partnership, Sharbini stressed the importance of regional collaboration, remarking that the partnership with Masdar will play a key role in advancing its sustainable future agenda. The agreement centered on collaborative efforts in advancing renewable energy projects, specifically emphasizing innovative technologies like solar photovoltaic PV technology and battery energy storage systems. A significant target outlined in the MOU is the joint venture to develop 2 gigawatts of renewable energy projects in Malaysia, with the focus of developing the initial project in Sarawak. Beyond solar and energy storage ventures, the collaboration extends to exploring opportunities in hydro projects across Malaysia. Meanwhile, Muhammad Jamil said Masdar is proud to be strengthening its support for Malaysia's renewable energy ambitions with this partnership. Sarawak, with a hydropower potential of 20,000 megawatts, has strategically harnessed 3.452 gigawatts from hydropower plants like Bakun, Murum and Batang Air, with an additional 1.285 gigawatts expected from the Balai Hydroelectric project by the end of the decade. The partnership follows an MOU signed in October 2023 between Masdar and the Malaysian Investment Development Authority (MIDA) that mark an investment commitment of 37 billion ringgit for the development of up to 10 gigawatts of renewable energy projects. The implementation of the Transit Signal Priority (TSP) system for the Autonomous Rapid Transit (ART) marks a significant stride toward efficient and uninterrupted public transportation in urban areas. Sarawak Transport Minister Datuk Sri Lee Kim Shin said the system was implemented to ensure that the ART will be given priority at traffic lights, which allows for a seamless flow through intersection without disruptions. Lee said the regulation was established to uphold the safety standards of the system.
Dalam sistem ini, ART ini, kita ada apa yang dikatakan TSP iaitu Transit Signal Priority, di mana ART akan diberi keutamaan apabila sampai ke isyarat-isyarat lalu lintas di simpang-simpang. Jadi akan hijau seterusnya. Jadi ART tidak ada apa gangguan. Jadi masanya dari satu tempat ke tempat itu memang tetap. Kalau 10 minit akan sampai. Kalau ada kereta kita dia langgar lampu isyarat itu ada undang-undang lah. Kita ambil tindakan yang tegas, yang keras terhadap mereka ni. Tetapi kita masih juga ada driver. Driver itu kerana apabila dia sampai dengan simpang itu dia akan slow.
He said this at a press conference after visiting the ART proof of concept site at La Promenade Mall on Wednesday. The ART prototype, which has undergone engineering test, has been moved from the Pending Port Terminal to La Promenade on November 17 to carry out the second phase of the proof of concept exercise along the Kuching-Samarahan Expressway. Additionally, Lee said the special lanes for the ART, which consists of the blue, red and green lines, will be ready by the end of 2027.
Kita ada 3 laluan yang saya kata tadi, laluan biru, itu laluan pertama lah yang kita sedang bina ini akan disiap pada hujung 2025 dan kalau operasinya mungkin awal 2026 lah, antara jangka masa antara itulah ya. Dan itu sepanjang 27.6 km panjangnya ya. Dan laluan merah ialah sepanjang 12.3 km daripada Kuching Central ke Pending, dan laluan hijau daripada Pending ke Damai sepanjang 30 km ya. Dan semua ini di bawah Kuching Urban Transport System, KUTS ini akan siap pada hujung 2027.
A secondary school student aged 17 was killed after his motorcycle was rear-ended by a car along kilometer 13, Jalan Kota Samarahan, Asajaya. According to Kota Samarahan District Police Chief DSP Brody Branca, the accident took place at about 9:20 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th, near Kampong Tembirat.
The victim was reported to have been thrown off his motorcycle onto the roadside. Medical personnel declared the victim dead at the scene due to bodily injuries and took the body to the hospital for post-mortem. The driver, on the other hand, a 32-year-old man, was unharmed. The case is now being investigated under Section 41(1) of the Road Transport Act 1987.
The Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change will conduct engagement sessions with the governments of Sarawak and Sabah in efforts to coordinate amendments to the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Bill 2023 and the Electricity Supply Amendment Bill 2023. Senator Dato' Ahmad Ibrahim said this follows an application submitted by 7 other Sarawakian senators to propose amendments to both bills after discovering inconsistencies on the rights given to Sarawak as stipulated in the Energy Commission Act 2001 and the Electricity Supply Act 1990.
Through a statement, Ahmad Ibrahim said the NRECC had requested a postponement of the second reading of the bill during the Dewan Negara session. At the same time, Ahmad, as well as other senators from Sarawak, welcomed the postponement of the NRECC, which took note of their concern towards the bill relating to the autonomous power of Sarawak over electricity and sources of electricity available in the state.
In an effort to boost Sarawak's recovering domestic tourism sector, the Penrisen Bidayuh Entrepreneurs Association has launched its first ever travel magazine. In collaboration with various agencies, the magazine highlights various local ecotourism attractions in the Borneo Highlands, such as the aptly named villages above the clouds. Deputy Minister of Transport Sarawak, Aviation and Roads, Dato' Dr. Jerip Susil said the magazine will provide easy access to information on these places for both local and foreign tourists.
The publication of this magazine will promote our tourism industry by incorporating the tourist attraction locality, arts, culture, heritage, homestays yearly for fun activities. Apart from that, we also include our tour information such as our tour guide, accommodation and transport details in the magazine. This magazine is a tool for the promotion and act as a strategic platform for the marketing, as well as it will boost up small and medium business activities surrounding the area.
He said this in his speech when officiating the launching of the magazine at a hotel in Kuching on Wednesday. Dr. Jarib, who is also Mambong Assemblyman, said the magazine will also benefit the local communities' economies by bringing in an influx of tourists.
There will be economic spin-off of tourism to the local community in terms of generating some income or sale of crafts, agricultural products, that's why we show them outside there just now, local traditional food and beverages such as manok pansok, pakasan ikan, Atapoya, Tuaks, of course, and the homestay operators will benefit by engaging customer tourists in their homestays, in their homestay packages, such as providing accommodation, food, plus tour attraction.
To further cement the magazine's role in boosting domestic tourism, Jarib said it will be distributed and placed at ferries. Also present during the launch were PUBP Chairman Jara Sidek and the magazine's chief editor, Associate Professor Dr. Christina Donnelly.
Sarawak Semiconductor Industry is keen to embark on compound semiconductor to position itself as one of the world's niche clusters in the industry, develop more talent and attract high-value investment. Chief Executive Officer of SMD Semiconductor Shariman Jamil said Sarawak could emulate the semiconductor industry in the United Kingdom in driving its semiconductor strategy.
We already have the existing capacity or player in silicon foundry through company XFab, which operate in Samajaya, Kuching High-Tech Park. Leveraging from this strength, I believe Sarawak can embark on compound semiconductors such as GaN on silicon, gallium on silicon, silicon carbide, or graphene on silicon. The future champion technology for EV, hydrogen, 5Gs and 6Gs, space applications, and many others.
According to Shariman, compound semiconductors can offer far superior performance compared to silicon, which makes it the next booming industry in semiconductor. Commenting further on the UK and Malaysia semiconductor industries, Shariman said, compared to Malaysia, the UK has a vibrant semiconductor ecosystem whereby its government invested a lot in research and development, R&D, and facilities to position itself in high-value R&D and chip design under the UK semiconductor strategy. While Malaysia's semiconductor supply chain, he said, has always been concentrated on the outsourced assembly and test OSAT and Electronic Manufacturing Services EMS. Therefore, he recommended the Sarawak semiconductor industry to move up the value chain into R&D and chip design through a supportive, collaborative framework between government, academic or research institutions and industry.
In this regard, everyone, I believe, must work together to ensure that Malaysia new industrial master plan and IMP 2030 can be materialized, and with the government providing a clear direction, in essence, a three-fit implementation strategy, execution strategy, with sufficient funding, and while the universities, our universities proactively and progressively skewing their outcomes to meet the industry requirements and standards.
He was contacted by TVS reporter on Tuesday in regards to the Commonwealth delegation's visit to establish semiconductor facilities in UK, which was held beginning November 27th to December 5th. The visit aims to showcase the UK's semiconductor capabilities and latest innovations, match common policy and commercial interests, and advance R&D collaborations.
We'll be taking a short break. Coming up next, Malaysia rejects all forms of violence against innocent civilians. Israel's false claims of massive elimination of Hamas forces. Only on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah today decreed that Malaysia rejects all forms of violence against innocent civilians in armed conflicts happening in various parts of the world right now. His Majesty said this includes bombings of hospitals and schools and the disruption of water, food and electricity supply to the public.
Betul khawatir jika kita tidak menerapkan prinsip-prinsip tersebut mulai dari sekarang, nescayalah sebarang pertikaian pada masa hadapan akan berakhir dengan konflik bersenjata yang mengenepikan segala bentuk rasional kemanusiaan.
Al-Sultan Abdullah said in his royal address at the 13th convocation ceremony of University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia (UPNM) at the World Trade Center on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the king said considering the ongoing armed conflicts, UPNM should be turned into a central hub for instilling an understanding and adherence to international humanitarian laws among the future society and leaders of the country. Al-Sultan Abdullah, who is also the Chancellor of UPNM, said this is because international laws emphasize the humanitarian elements in controlling the adverse effects of armed conflict and warfare. A total of 1,490 UPNM graduates will be receiving their scrolls at the convocation, including 11 who will be receiving a Doctor of Philosophy PhD degree, Master's degree 93, Bachelor's degree 986, and Diploma 400. Malaysia has attracted over 225 billion ringgit in approved investments in services, manufacturing and primary sectors in the first 9 months of the year, a 6.6% jump from last year's 211 billion ringgit. The Malaysian Investment Development Authority said the services sector accounted for 117.7 billion ringgit, followed by the manufacturing sector at 99.8 billion ringgit and primary sector at 7.5 billion ringgit. Midas said foreign direct investment FDI accounted for 55.9% or 125.7 billion ringgit of the total approved investments, while domestic direct investments DDI contributed 44.1% or 99.3 billion ringgit. The Netherlands emerged as the leading source of FDI, contributing 35.0 billion ringgit, while other notable sources included Singapore, the United States, China, and Japan. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Tengku Dato Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said the growth in approved investment is a testament to Malaysia's continued attractiveness as an investment destination. It also reflected to the country's collaborative whole-of-government and whole-of-nation efforts in attracting, facilitating and retaining investments. Midas said that as of November 2023, there are a total of 1,428 projects with proposed investments of 72.3 billion ringgit within the agency's pipeline. Midas said it is also actively negotiating a total amount of 161.6 billion ringgit in high-potential investment leads. In an effort to prevent data leak and protect data security, Cybersecurity Malaysia has issued recommendations for the use of technological equipment, devices and software applications. Deputy Communication and Digital Minister Teo Ni Ching said the recommendations include the need for a vulnerability assessment and penetration tests, which is the process of identifying vulnerabilities in computer systems, applications and devices.
Persetujuan peranti, aplikasi dan sistem yang dibangunkan seperti Malaysia Common Criteria, MyCC dengan izin, dan Technology Security Assurance, TSA dengan izin, yang merupakan proses sistematik untuk menilai dan memperakui fungsi keselamatan produk ICT berdasarkan kriteria atau piawaian yang ditetapkan.
She said this in a reply to Senator Datuk Sri T. Lian Kerr's question regarding the guidelines on the use of technical equipments, devices and software applications from foreign countries in government buildings and premises devices to protect national data privacy. According to TIO, the security posture assessment should be performed on a regular basis to identify vulnerabilities of existing ecosystems, devices, applications, and systems that will be developed. At the moment, the existing government policies do not prohibit the use of technological equipment, devices, or software applications from specific nations by government agencies or in government buildings and facilities. The third humanitarian aid delivery from Malaysia for Palestine through Ops Ihsan, involving 60 tons of various goods and essentials, is expected to depart on December 18. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that the delivery is a contribution channeled through the Humanitarian Trust Fund for the Palestinian people from various parties.
Kita harap keperhatian rakyat Malaysia ini dapat diteruskan kerana kita lihat bahawa asakan lebih ke selatan di kawasan Gaza ini amat menyakitkan dan kezaliman ini masih diteruskan oleh pihak Zionis dan kita tidak boleh hanya melihat tetapi kita harus memberikan bantuan yang berterusan kepada rakyat Palestin khususnya yang berada di Gaza yang terus dikenakan tekanan oleh pihak Israel.
He also urged the public to continue making contributions to the Palestinian people using the platforms provided by the government to avoid any abuse. Zahid Hamidi said this at a press conference in Putrajaya after receiving contributions for the Palestinian People's Aid Mission from Wanita UMNO Malaysia, amounting to over 620,000 ringgit, and from 99 Speedmart Sendirian Berhad with a total of 200,000 ringgit. He said that all of these contributions signifies solidarity in the mission to assist the Palestinian people and demonstrate awareness of the current situation, especially the conflict affecting the people in Palestine. The channel, through AAKRP and overseen by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, aligns with the recommendation of Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who called on all parties to work together in addressing the issues occurring in Palestine. And now on to international affairs. It has been 61 days since the Palestine-Israel conflict erupted. Israel has made claims that it was successful in eradicating thousands of Hamas forces under the pretense of self-defense. However, when asked to state the number of Hamas fighters who have been wiped out, senior advisor to the Israeli Prime Minister, Mark Regev, could not state a definite nor an estimated tally. Instead, he said the world should not believe the reported number of Palestinian casualties because it is fabricated.
Look, we could just articulate numbers the way Hamas does and just make them up and throw them out there. No, we're very precise. And if we don't have a precise number, we're not going to make one up. I am sure when this is over, and you can have me back if this is not true, but I am sure, because I know this to be the case. When one looks at what the experts call the combat to civilian death ratio, yes? and you will compare the IDF's behavior in Gaza together with against what the West did in, let's say, places like Mosul and Fallujah, I think the IDF's going to come out very favorably.
He spoke during an interview at Piers Morgan's Uncensored that aired on December 5th. When asked to produce hard evidence on the exact number of eradicated Hamas forces, Rajav dodged the question by saying that Israel had urged civilians to evacuate to safer zones in the south, which has become a refugee spot for millions of war refugees. On a similar note, spokesperson of the Israeli government, Elon Levi, said the attack on Gaza is precise and targeted towards Hamas, but later admitted that they could not distinguish between civilians and Hamas targets.
Hamas is making it very difficult to do that because we know that it's
So how do you know you've killed thousands of them?
Because we know who we are targeting. We are targeting on the basis of precise intelligence. This isn't an indiscriminate bombardment as many would like to paint it. Hamas knows that we do not target civilians. It seems to know that better than some in the West.
Levi also claimed that the death toll figures released by the Palestinians' health ministry to be absurd due to the ministry's purported affiliations with Hamas.
Hamas is the organization, the army of terror that on October 7th burned, beheaded, abducted people, and then lied about it to the entire international media.
I understand that.
So it is the opposite of a credible source. And
I understand that, but do you accept, given that previous figures that they have given during the many years of this conflict about casualties have turned out to be pretty accurate, do you accept this is likely to be the range of people who've been killed?
First of all, they haven't been proven accurate because historically Hamas never admits in the course of a war.
The Palestinian death toll statistics released by the Palestinian Health Ministry currently tallies with figures published by the various human rights organizations, including the United Nations, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and B'Tselem, an Israeli-based human rights information center, among others. Since the start of war on October 7th, Palestine had suffered over 16,000 civilian casualties, including more than 7,000 children. Israel has said it does not intend to halt their attacks.
Another urgent ceasefire has been called by the United Nations as Palestinians in the Gaza Strip are living in what they describe as utter deepening horror. Human rights chief for the UN Volker Turk said that out of the 2.2 million individuals residing in the Palestinian enclave, 1.9 million had experienced displacement, compelling them to relocate to increasingly confined and densely populated areas in southern Gaza, which is stricken with unhygienic and unhealthy conditions.
Turk added that in these apocalyptic humanitarian conditions, there was a significant likelihood of atrocities being committed. Hence, he called for the Israeli Zionist regime to take immediate steps to end the widespread lack of accountability for the violations. The extensive casualties in Gaza have raised worldwide concern, exacerbated by severe shortages resulting from an Israeli blockade that has permitted only limited supplies of food, water, fuel, and medicines to enter the region.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. Up-to-the-minute headlines are now available across all of our social media platforms. And that's all the updates for TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.